So the first game on our schedule today is going to be The Tribe Must Survive. Now, this is an alpha playtest of the game. The developers reached out to me directly saying, hey, we would love you to do content for this, and if you enjoy this game, we could talk about more. So I'm like, all right, you know what, I'm interested, I'm curious. My understanding of this game is it is like a tribe-based settlement builder kind of game where there's some type of like creepy fog thing that is the external threat. I don't really know how it plays or anything like that. Do expect there to be bugs. Do expect there to be jank. Do expect there to be pain points. This is an alpha playtest, so this isn't. This is like really kind of intended to just get us a try of it. It is nowhere near a finished product. But with all that said, let's go ahead and hop in. That's also the reason why you're noticing that there's no option settings and all that, so I had to adjust the volume using Windows. I'm willing to accept that for like an alpha playtest thing. It's not a game you can currently buy or anything like that. It's way early development, so we should expect problems.
Whatever it is that lurks in the dark, it was about to get us. Everything happened so fast. Many were taken before we could sound the horn. The fire was our only hope. We had stocked up, wood and food and everything else, but we had not prepared against the shadows within. When tension turned to carnage, we fled into the night. Aimless we ran, for days, through a blur of darkness and fog, death all around us. When suddenly, the fog lifted, and the light came back. At least for now. Those shadows will return. Prepare.
Okay, that's
we have to survive.
That's a comfy start. Everybody died. Betrayal, murder, death. Awful, terrible. Okay, welcome. In this tutorial, you'll get to know the basics of building your tribe's camp. Every camp needs a stockpile where stone and wood can be stored. Pick a good spot close to those resources. Okay. I don't know where those resources are, but, you know, okay. Oh, so it's got like a hexagon system. Alright. Well, I'm assuming the wood and all that's down here. So I'll do that. Now that the tribe has buildings to store resources in, it can start producing them. Lumber camps produce wood. Wood is the most important resource early on. It is needed for building and, even more importantly, for the fire. Make sure there's enough before it gets dark. Place 3 lumber camps. Oh, that's stone up there, okay. The granary is where food is stored. Hungry tribes members will go there to get something to eat. It should be placed at a location that can be reached easily. Oh, we gotta wait for resources. Okay. But yeah, I'm actually surprised they have a tutorial at all for an alpha playtest. I appreciate that they do. Global fire control. So that turns it on and off. Alright, so it sounds like at night the... It says automation off. We'll deal with that. We need 50 wood, we're at 35. I was able to place it anyways, which is slightly confusing, but okay. There's not enough wood to turn on the fire. What was that nightmare deer up there? Yeah, I know it's very darkest dungeon. I do wonder if over time we will chop down these trees, because I can't click on them to see anything about them. Place a hunter's hall. The hunter's hall produces food. Hunters often have to hunt far away from the fire. The night horn can be used to call them back into the light at night. Okay. Tents where the tribe members go to get some rest. The amount of tent also limits how many members the tribe can have. Place 2 tents. Alright. So there is a fog of war in the game that we're seeing revealed that way. The way their arms move is a little disconcerting. You feel like the game's a little bit too loud? I could deal with that. Gunlap was taken by something. Your tribe's fear increases. Maybe one of those games that the music gets quiet then loud? It could be. You know, turn on automatically. Alright. Well, we're doing good. First night, ran out of wood. We did have one of our people was taken away last night. This is the end of the tutorial. The basics should be clear now, but there's so much more to learn. Good. According to the atmosphere, something bad gonna happen, right? Yeah. Yeah. So let's let them stock up on wood this time. Those arms are really uncomfortable. They got like these super long arms that kind of just really a weird vibe. Alright, so stone pit. What do you need that you're unhappy about? Stops flood water from spreading. Acts as a walkway. Supposed to turn on. That to be slightly earlier. Yeah, because it's red here. And I'm assuming we have to keep the lights on when it's red. At 5 a.m. it should turn the fire back off. You like the vibe? Yeah. Spirit Lodge, where ritual can take place, and the tribe's member can satisfy their spiritual need, and the Explorer platform. Explorers uncover new areas around the camp and launch journeys in the outer world. Alright, so I think first of all, you gotta get the stone pit online. Oh, it has to actually go on the stone. I understand now. Okay. This doesn't seem to imply there's a limit on how much the storage place can carry. Okay. You turn on your own, right? That's the whole thing, is turn on automatically. The wanderer arrives. A strange man arrives in the camp with a full head. He is a full head taller and looks much stronger than our tribe's members. His ragged hair and beard melt in a huge mammoth fur gown, giving him the appearance of a giant bear. The man looks fiercely from left to right as our tribesmen approach him. Their eyes lock with him, and the feral expression's face turns into a calm, steady stare. I am here to take something from you, he growls in a strange accent. Not as a robber. Today I am not more than a beggar in urgent need of help. I cannot stay, but I will return in 3 days to take 50 stone. There is nothing material I could give you in return. Will you help? We will help the creepy thing. Is the camera image a little noisier? It looks like just me. Maybe the camera had something changed? Alright. No, it's still set to 30 frames per second. No, I don't know. I mean, it looks the same to me. Oh, wait, what was that? Oh, interesting. So you can lock new areas. Alright, so we need to get that stone going. And this time the fire turned itself back on by itself, I believe. Or it's just turned on because I forgot to turn it off. We'll set that even earlier. Oh, that's... I see. So that's what's supposed to run to and from. Yeah, it's supposed to turn on automatically in those hours. Weird. Okay. So you're up there hunting, we're getting that wood. It does seem to appear to take the wood away. Maybe a little bit. I'm guessing it's because the adjustments made when the screen was very bright, now it's darker. Yeah, the image being noisy on camera. Maybe. Alright. They were a tribes member. Okay, so you have the trait neurotic. You have how content, discontent they are. We have cohesion. Which I guess they have two different beliefs in their area. We have how panicked and how likely people are to riot, I guess. We have spiritual stuff. We have building upgrades which cost us materials. And there's a lot of them. We have philosophies, which I have no idea how work. What? So this probably just have to do with, like, it being alpha versus not. Yeah, so one of our people got taken away. Yeah, so it just seems like the turn on automatically isn't working, which again, this is a very early alpha playtest. A group of strangers arrives. A group of strangers approached the camp. They saw our fire and decided to ask if they could join us. Join us. Strength in numbers. We get 3 people, but our stability decreases. Sure. I'll go ahead and build a spirit lodge. Any other resources? And our wood cutting place up there. So I'm trying to make sure I get enough stone for where the guy said he'd be back in 3 days. I'm assuming if I agreed to do, help him out and then don't, there'll be consequences. Alright, for the next building, the Spirit Lodge, I need 100 wood, so I'll probably be next in-game day. Alright, Bentley, you sleep well. Thank you for hanging out. Got 2 people in shock. Apparently, as time goes on, alright, so I've got the fire. Yeah, alright, so what's going to happen is over time they're going to get over being in shock. Conceptually seems like a really cool game. I like the idea. The glowing eyes are really creepy. Was that actually close enough to be considered in the light? It's kind of a little hard to tell where the light ends. Alright, so pretty soon we'll have the stone. Gonna put a lumber camp up there as well. Because I have a feeling this is one of those games that no matter how much wood you take, you're always going to want more. Alright, so I've got the 50 stone for when the guy returns. I've almost got 100 wood. I'm going to wait till we have a little bit over 100 wood, or just like where we make it through the night with 100 wood, just so we don't end up running out of wood in the middle and like half our people get taken by the shadows or whatever. Because I assume this is what kills you, is just, we have these fears slowly build up. It's also interesting that someone disappeared. So per day, if we look at that, per day their fear is actually going up in total. So you have someone disappeared +5, but how much it's going up by each day goes down each day. So that's kind of an interesting way of happening. So instead of like in RimWorld where they have like something go wrong and then suddenly they have like -40 to their mood and you just have to live with it. That's actually exaggeration. -40 is too high, but like -15, you just have to live with it. It's kind of like it builds up, like it goes from like that and like slowly reduces. I think that's kind of an interesting way of doing it. 8 at the table, -40. Yeah, so like one of our tribesmen is no longer in shock. Alright, so let's go ahead and get their spirit lodge. You need 1 medicine per... Okay, so there's a shaman who gets assigned to that place who goes to get medicine. And nothing. The Wanderer returns. 3 days have passed. Like he said, the Wanderer returns to our camp. He rushes towards the fire, bright flames reflecting in his black eye. He sees the makeshift crate full of stone that we have prepared for him. He slows down with a sigh of relief, growls, "You did it! I should give her... This should give her a chance. You will not regret helping me. I will see to that." He reaches down to us, and in the palm of his giant hands, briefly see a strange runestone, just before it bursts into a cloud of green light and sparks. Without another word, he lifts the massive crate onto his shoulder and disappears in the forest. What was that? The disciples of the beast gain 100 progress, and we lose 50 stone. I don't know what that means. Okay, I guess we get to choose a new upgrade. So, Disciples of the Beast. A decision needs to be made before the two aspects of Disciples will be. Choose widely. Wild reproduction. Tribe growth +1. Size of your tribe is no longer limited by tent capacity. That seems terrifying. Chance to satisfy food need by 1 when moving to a new tile, +5%. So this one sounds terrifying because that would imply your tribe can just keep growing. Like the tents stop mattering, which means your population will explode. Versus this one feels like it's when you move to a new tile, you just get a single food. I'm gonna choose that one because at least that one doesn't look like it's going to implode in our face. Or I will decide later. Okay, so what buildings are we still missing? We're missing the Explorer's building, which we need more wood for. I don't know if we need the flood barrier. I wonder if it means if you'll eat between the tiles. Yeah, it's not really clear. But again, early alpha playtest, that's the kind of stuff that you expect that what ends up happening is they do an update or two and they just clarify the wording and that kind of thing. We have 2 tribesmen in shock. Ooh, yours is really high. From base fear. I don't know what base fear is, but it went down by 1 point there. Still going down as far as people missing. It does look like you can actually rename people. I'm not going to worry about it at this point because, like I said, we're going to kind of do the thing where we try a bunch of games, so I'm not going to invest the time into one. Like, unless I have a game like, oh my god, I need to keep playing this. Then we can worry about that. But for right now, we'll play this for a little while. Get our thoughts behind it. Zero goes there. So that behavior. So the squiggle means people are in shock, and that's what they're working on. Interactions. I don't know what that's doing. Lighting. Oh, there we go. So that's where you can see, like, so this is light intensity and that's daylight. So everyone inside this area is safe from the shadows when the fire's running. Gotcha. So that's good. They do have a way to explain that. Alright, so the next in-game day I will build our exploration tower and see how that goes. Food is not keeping up, so let's get that built actually first. It'd be nice if the automatic fire thing worked. I mean, that says that the horn is automated. But it would be good if the fire you could set it to automatically pop on and off. I'm assuming that's what the way it should work. I also am worried about this fire mark here. Is that just saying we have a fire going? I don't know. It's not super clear, but that's okay. There's definitely a lot of potential for this game so far as expanding and doing a bunch of ridiculous stuff. Yeah, the fire just stays right there, so I mean, the fire must be what today is, like that's how many days we survived or whatever. Alright, so we definitely have more than enough for the Explorer Tower. Yeah, there's ores and all that, and we haven't seen how to do that yet. Okay, so that requires... and I don't know what the last symbol is over there. What are you? Influence. Okay, so I'm gaining influence per day. Oh, I see. Alright. So the idea is I need to get to 50 influence, and then just have a bunch of supplies. Why is our food struggling so much? Ah, I can only have one of those per camp. Make an extra hunter's place. You have no unassigned tribes members. Content to be alive. So our discontent is going up because we don't have enough food. We apparently, I guess, don't have enough spiritual need. The eclipse will hit us in 5 days. Prepare. Okay. So, reading between the lines, I need extra wood for 5 days. Alright. Yeah, so wood is going well. Food is struggling. What are you doing? Alright. Yeah, it looks like there's axe. Interesting. So there's gonna be some type of progression to it, I guess, so far as like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Alright, so our food is finally going up. Alright, let's at least get through this eclipse and see how that goes. Alright, bear with me, chat. It's gonna scroll up. Sorry. Yeah, it was, I mentioned there was a game I was trying to troubleshoot before stream that I'd really wanted to play during stream, but just didn't happen. Like, I had problems booting it up and all that kind of stuff. I put in a message to the team, and they're like, yeah, as a person who heard of it, you know, send us your specs and all that. So I'll have to do that after stream. Give me one moment. Sorry about that. So we have a bunch of people going into shock, like, again and again with their fear. Not sure what I could do to counter that to bring that back down. Ah! Leaving the fire running even during the day helps with that. I see. I'm not thrilled about it, but I do see. That's not actually what I wanted to build, and I took a huge loss of materials. I actually really dislike that. I definitely am a fan of when you build something you can undo it or move it for free or relatively cheap. That's been something that more and more games are doing that I really appreciate, because especially when you're talking like you have a building that'll cost you like 200 wood, 100 stone, and a bunch of iron, like an extremely expensive building, and like the game like starts auto-saving and freezes for a fraction of a second, so instead of putting it where you need to put it, you end up like 2 tiles to the right, but that like for whatever reason is like really bad, and you go, okay, do I leave it really bad, or do I eat the huge amount of cost of that? And, you know, just do that. I much prefer at least a short term that you could, like, undo a placement or whatever. I think there's certain things about games that should be forgiving versus that, because it's those kind of misclick things that just feels bad. Okay, so that's good. Oh, when you said eclipse, I didn't realize you're talking multiple days of eclipse. That's pretty concerning. A kingdom for the undo button. I know, right? There's no unassigned tribes members, so I'm just gonna let the population keep climbing up. I wonder if you can, like, overhunt them and they go away, or they just keep doing that. I feel like you'd eventually be able to overhunt them, and then you have to, like, chase around ones. But this seems to be the one and only source of food, which maybe that's a thing that eventually forces you to switch tiles, or... because there's not implying that there's other... oh, actually, there's advanced. I didn't even notice these over here. Tinkery works conduct experiments for research points. Crop and farm workers will tend to nearby crop fields to produce stuff. Then we have the crop field. We have an outpost fire. Protects tribesmen at the outpost. An ore mine. Evacuation. Evacuation workers search for relics. A beacon is provide light. Not as much light as a fire, but is better than nothing. A yellow medicine farm. A green medicine farm, a trade post, and a furnace. Alright. Requires Act 2, so we're not in Act 2 yet, so I won't worry about that. Okay, we've got... We got the crop farm over there. Alright, so no one seems to be sitting at the fire, so let's go ahead and kill the fire for a little bit. But I think my first plan is gonna be just to ride out the oh good god. When it said eclipse, I thought it was like a day, like, you know, real life eclipse is usually just like a couple of hours to a day depending on how you want to deal with it, how you want to consider it. This is looking like we're at 3 days. Or is this like forever? They give you a couple days to prepare yourself. And then it's forever dark times. Which would also be interesting because that would mean I need to like kind of hopscotch my my fires, which would make sense as a game mechanic because that's not ideal. Well, limit 1 per camp and must be placed in the outer world. Okay, this is going to get worse before it gets better based on what I'm understanding now. We're going to need a hecking lot of wood. Oh, it literally can be placed within 1 tile of it. Interesting. Alright. The sun has disappeared and a strange mist is building up around us. The light of the fire protects us, but there is something in the dark, waiting for a flame to shrink. Stay close to light. Your tribe gets eclipse. Tribe member fear plus 20, sunlight minus 1, chance of shadow death plus 100%. And a whole bunch of them are going into shock. Our wood is rapidly declining. Turn that one down. Turn this one down. Oh, I can make the radius bigger. Okay, that's interesting. Our wood is just straight up vanishing. Sorry, all of you up here. Run while you can. Precious offering. Fear has taken over the tribe and driven people to extreme measures. One of the tribe's members is being dragged to the edge of the mist as a sacrifice for whatever lurks inside. We must give the mist what it wants. 1 life sacrifice will bring back the sun to save everyone. The tribe member is struggling to break free, begging the others to stop. The rest are horrified at what they're seeing and are attempting to intervene. So stop this, just wait for the eclipse to pass. We will lose 20 influence. Food is enough of a sacrifice, we'll lose 50 food. Let him have it. You know what? We got food. The hunter has disappeared and this could spread other hunters. It's too dangerous to hunt. Something lurks in the shadows. Calm them down. I don't think we're gonna make it, chat. Considering we're about 30 seconds into the eclipse. And we're out of fire. Oh, there goes one person. And another. And two more. And more. Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey, approacher. And there goes some more. It's okay. We can survive the last 3 days, right? Right? We're only 1 day into the eclipse, and we've got our numbers knocked down from, I think it was like 14 or 16 to 4. A greater sacrifice. The darkness and mist still surrounds us. The tribe's members are shrinking deeper into terror. Fearing the fire will go out. I mean, that's a very valid fear considering the fire has gone out. Again, they demand that an offering must be made. We know what the mist wants. Hurry, before we are all lost. Eyes turned towards a tribesman that had almost been sacrificed before. Her lip begins to quiver. A little more food should surely be enough, considering everyone's dying. Up, and then there were 3, and 2, and 1. It's okay, buddy, you got this. Only 2 days by your lonesome in the woods in the darkness with the shadows that grab you during the night. You got it, buddy. Death is upon us. We did our best. It wasn't enough. Our tribe did not survive. We survived 16 days. The tribe member total were 18. The tribe members who survived, 0. Building upgrades, 0. Resources produced, 0. Okay, we'll do a restart. We'll do another round. I wonder if you can sacrifice the last tribe's member. Excellent. Okay, so the map does randomly generate. Where's the granary? Alright, we'll go ahead and start speeding up time again. So, what I'm learning from that last playthrough is I am going to need... Please, the wood. I wasn't watching carefully. Yes, the night horn plays automatically. But the fire I have to do on my own. Alright. And it does give me an estimate of if my food is, like, all that's going up or down. We have 1 unassigned tribesman. And luckily this game doesn't do the whole thing where, like, your food goes bad over time or anything like that. That doesn't seem to be a mechanic in this game, which I... You know, it's not a bad thing to have in games, but I kind of appreciate that it's not a thing I'm gonna worry about. Okay. The stone pit is 80. Yeah, so it looks like the idea is before we reach the point that that the eclipse happens, I need to not only stockpile a lot of wood and all that, I need to get my infrastructure in my tribe stable enough that I can continue to grow, expand, and survive with long periods of no light. So it's kind of like when you look at like a lot of colony games where you have like the spring, fall, or spring, summer, fall that you prep, and then you ride out the winter with like nowhere near enough food. Same idea, except instead of food, it is a hecking lot of firewood. Alright, so let's get the stone next. And then we're going to try and get the farm online early on. See if that helps anything. Okay, and that's everyone assigned. Does this frostbite only with light instead of cold? Not really. I did sort of kind of mentally make that comparison earlier. Just kind of in my head I didn't say anything. Like the whole radius thing about being around the light sort of fits that, but Frostpunk day and night you have to worry about cold. So it kind of does have its nuanced difference. So it doubles the amount. How much actually bigger does that make it? So that's our light radius here. Everything inside that cone is safe. It is only 2 tiles bigger. So I mean, that could be justified, but it's not going to be super efficient. So I've got that. Next, I think we're going to try and get the crop farm going. We're going to try and keep it close enough. That way, when I have to drop everyone back to this location, that supposedly will hopefully still get food without having to go out there. And that's just generic food? Okay. Alright. Because that way our hunters don't have to go nearly as far. And it looks like we can't do the tinkering until Act 2. My suspicion is that once you survive the eclipse, then you're effectively in Act 2. Copper from raw resources? Yeah. This also means I'd like to keep some of this in the radius to keep them going even at night. Because it doesn't look like they actually sleep that much. Alright, so I've got the farm online. You have no idea how efficient the farms are or anything like that. Point is, we do seem to be getting pretty decent food. They could stay inside the light and still produce some food. Let's see, filling crops. The farmer, I'm not gonna bother, has discovered that one of the plants in his field seems to yield exceptionally large sweet corn cobs. Much bigger than the ones the other ones. Use them as seeds, they can improve our next harvest. Yeah. So basically, delay the food to get much more food in the future. I am down for that. We have 2 people with no jobs to do. I do need to make the Spirit Lodge still. Oh, I forgot to turn it on. That's on me. I do wish that was automated as well. I know I keep saying that. I do wish I could automate the fire as well. That, like, if I have wood, there isn't a reason to not turn on the fire at night. So just like that horn, I do wish you could just automatically say, turn it on. The one arrives, yeah, so it's the same one. Yeah, he still wants the stone. Cool. Like, that'd be my only ask here is the global fire control. Don't make me manually hit it every time, because it sucks to, like, lose people because you forgot to hit a button that you have to hit at the same time. Let me have automation for the fire. I'm even okay if it's a separate or the same automation as the horn. Alright, so another person who... What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till it's nighttime, turn on the fire, see the radius, and put the wood cutting place inside that radius. One member is in shock. That's fine, we'll deal with that in a moment. Okay, so with this... Yeah, I'll put you out in the fringe over there. Alright. Does have a creepy vibe, you kinda like it? Yeah. And this is our second attempt. The first one, we just didn't realize how much wood I need to be stockpiling. So we are going to massively overproduce on the wood front. Now we're gonna keep the fire going so that you know, the one person who's having a mood break or whatever is over there can slowly recover. Because the shock will go away over time as we keep the fire. We're only losing two wood per in-game hour. The food's going absolutely fine. I'm actually pretty sure that farm is outperforming the hunter by a large margin. Okay, so there's something we can do that would help out here. Most of those require stone, which you want to save for one guy. Outpost fire. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah, so we can't do a whole lot over there. We definitely make the explorers thing. Now we're just gonna save for a little while. Alright. I mean, those trees are in range of the light. But they should be able to keep cutting down the trees even at nighttime. Okay. Alright. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna be stockpiling a ridiculous amount of wood in preparation for the eclipse. And just see if that's how you deal with it, as you just... An area around the camp has been explored. Okay. Yeah, so we need to find a spot with mushrooms for the yellow medicine and a spot with the other thing for the green medicine. And we haven't seen either. Oh, I see. By having the platform, we'll have one person who just wanders around looking at stuff. That's fine. Let's go ahead and turn this fire back off. Now we have no one who is in shock. Save our wood. Ooh. Alright, let's drop our speed back down. So, my hope is... Cool. Tiberium? It does look like Tiberium. From Red Alert back in the day. The Wanderer returns. Yep, so we did that one earlier. So that gave us a bunch of our science stuff, which I'm suddenly not remembering how I get to. Philosophies? No. You gain influence. Yeah, so I'm assuming we don't have access to these yet. And I'll get there eventually. There, the spiritual upgrade. Okay. So you have a chance for food near need to be satisfied one while moving to a new tile. Disorder and freedom. Contentiousness -2. Sure. Maybe. Sorry about that. So what do building upgrades cost? They have a research cost. So we can't build the research thing till Act 2. Which may or may not be in the game yet, I honestly don't know. Build another tent. Their population go up so we can get people to start doing the spiritual stuff. I do find it interesting that your explorer just kind of goes out here and just stands there and just like stares out in the distance. And that eventually it's like, okay, we've explored this tile. Versus like actually moving around a bunch. Alright. And we are managing. An eclipse will hit us in 5 days. Prepare. I feel much better prepared this time than last time. Like, we are... Like, basically what I think we'll do is we'll ride out the eclipse. Once we're through with the eclipse, we'll start branching the tribe out into the next area. As well as dealing with, you know, expanding our operations here. The thing that was my mistake was last time. Manage the supplies and passengers of a single trade route. So we need to find ruins. And other stuff like that. Yeah, so we'll ride out the first eclipse, and then we'll make a move on to the next territory. Because that'll also let us gauge how much of a surplus of food I need for, like, at least the initial eclipse. My assumption is it'll get worse as the game goes on. That just feels like the type of thing a game like this would do. I kind of wish there was a zoom out for this tile without going quite this far out. I wish there was like a you know, zoom here at this level, one in the middle, and then one way up top. Because I want to like zoom out just a little bit, and it kicks me the whole way out, and it's like, okay, that's fine, but wish it wasn't so extreme. I got a camp person and shock, so let's keep the fire on for a while. Alright. Are we actually getting the green medicine now? Is that... Yeah, so we have some green medicine. Cool. So our spiritual need is starting to be maintained. We got the eclipse coming. We do now officially have enough influence so we could move on to the next tile. Like I said, we're going to wait till after the eclipse. We're going to ride it out. Because at first it's like, yeah, one day we can ride out with not enough fire. Like, you know, one day where we could just ride on the amount of wood we have. And then it was like 5 days. I'm like, I am unprepared for this. Eclipse happens in 2 days. Yeah, so one thing we might do for when the eclipse arrives is they might jump that fire up one tick so that these trees are in there. Because I feel like having them work during the day, during this part with the fire a bit bigger, will be better than trying to just conserve. That way we're still bringing more wood in. At least that's what I'm thinking on paper. I don't know if that's actually true. Okay. Still just exploring around here. We're still trying to find the yellow mushrooms. Alright. Okay, it's almost eclipse time. So we'll try this again, only this time over-prepared. A group of strangers arrives. Sure. Because we'll end up wanting to have them work on stuff anyways. Where's my explorer exploring it at the moment? Alright, it's that time. By the time we wake up in the morning, it'll be eclipse time. Okay, so each time it doubles, so I don't want to necessarily go all the way up to 8, but my hope is making this radius this big, they'll still be able to cut down those trees. If we go one larger, will you be able to do it? No? Food will be the only sacrifice we need, that's fine. Alright, so we still got one over there wood cutting for the moment. A lot of the others are now in shock. Make a bed. The tents are getting messy. So messy, in fact, that they started to affect people's sleep. We had to do something. I can't sleep well surrounded by chaos and dirt. Let's see, really? Don't we have a bigger problems? Sure, clean the tents now. It's fine, I'll spend my influence cleaning the tents. You could say it's going to eclipse the level of danger involved. Yes, so far this is going fine. We're a bit over a day and a half in. We burned about 100 wood, and that's with me escalating the fire way up. That said, almost all my tribesmen are currently in shock. Honestly, I could probably just reduce this. There's no sense because they're not working anymore because they're all in shock. So we'll just reduce this so they keep them safe. Spare wasting the wood. Yeah, so it does have similarities with like Frostpunk. The way like Frostpunk, what happens is you'll have like a cycle that everything's kind of okay-ish, and then the temperature will drop, and it'll come back, and it'll drop more, and it'll come back to like kind of like it gets worse and worse as you go through the game, typically. But it does kind of give you like it hits you for a little while, it backs off a little bit, then hits you a little bit harder, then backs off a little bit, then hits you even harder, and then backs off a little bit. Or like Timberborn does the same thing with the droughts, where you have like, this is the time with no drought, this is the time with the drought, like kind of going back and forth. A greater sacrifice, more food will be fine. I have tons of food, we're good. I wonder how long it'll take for the shock to go away once the eclipse is over. Now my hope is that once we get to the other side of eclipse, then Act 2 begins. Because Act 2 is where we start opening up the ability to do research. That said, this is again an alpha playtest version of the game, so I would assume it is extremely far from content complete, feature complete kind of thing. So it might literally be we hit Act 2 and it's just like, nope, sorry. It may let us get into Act 2. I don't honestly know. But like, I'm liking this game. I am curious that as it develops more, I could see playing a game like this a bunch more as it expands the content. right now, with like we built everything on this side we have access to, and we built a couple of things over here. I am curious about how much the game escalates and how far the research lets us go with a bunch of it and all that. The eclipse has passed. We finally, finally see the moon pierce through the darkness and the mist around us disappears. The long night has ended, but the horrors are still out there. We must all prepare for what's ahead. Act 2, Progress. Okay, even though we survived the eclipse, we soon realized that what got us here won't get us any farther. Struggling to satisfy even the most basic needs wasn't going to be enough. Survival is a race between progress and disasters. We had to stay alive. So this act, we have cost of efficiency, that we have a social need increase, expanding minds, we have more spiritual progress, we have more inspiration building upgrades, making hay, crop farming is going to be better, time to invest, building costs will be cheaper, and we now have access to the Tinkery, which is the research building. Let's drop this down. Everyone's no longer in shock, which is a plus. So once it's daytime, we can deal with that. Let's go ahead and immediately build that Tinkery. Because I mean, I got the materials, why wouldn't I? Alright. We have 10 people who are unassigned at the moment. And everyone get back to work. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Did you all hear that alert? I wasn't sure if that went through the right channel. I had to change a lot of audio settings. You'll probably notice I'm on the headset that was given to me a while back. My other headset's batteries no longer hold a charge, so yay. Cool. Just making sure it actually worked, because I had to redo a whole bunch of audio stuff because of it. You know, old headset be old and stop doing what it needed to do. Alright, so turn that fire off. Alright, so we're doing pretty good here. So, alright, building upgrades. So we started getting, so we're starting to get a research here. Yeah, so it looks like the earlier ones. Okay, so it's this is that on the top area. Pair tinkering, quick growth. Alright. And then we also have spiritual. Food for thought. Our tinkerers ask for additional resources to feed their creative flame. Those inspiring substances will surely lead us to many useful ideas. They demand 10 green green stuff in the next 5 days. Okay, can I build 2 of those right there? That would actually help a lot. That should help. Okay. Yeah, and this is the alpha playtest version. It's not publicly available yet at all. It is called The Tribe Must Survive. They reached out to a bunch of creators to kind of have them play it, check it out, see what they thought. I think they're actually looking for some creators to work with them on the long term and all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty fun. It's got sort of a vibe that reminds you of Frostpunk. It's just instead of biting cold, there's this mysterious fog. Which, you know, there's definitely analogs between it with the whole name, The Tribe Must Survive. It's like, okay. You know, that definitely carries. So we definitely have what I need to do that. I wonder why I can't unlock it. Because I believe I have all I need. Unless, like, I need to somehow get those materials here. Yeah, because I need just 50 food, 125 wood, which I have more than that, and I need 50 influence. So I don't seem to be able to do that. I'm assuming our explorers have to explore. Is what it boils down to. That we have to... I really wish there was a third level of Zoom. That we have to, you know, manage to make that happen. Let's get a second explorer's place going. Because I have the spare labor. Wonder what else I can even use this for. Time since last riot helps us gain more influence. But for right now, store everything. Because I'm not seeing that we're getting more, and I do need us to get 10 within 5 days. Got a couple more wood cutting buildings. Am I liking the game so far? I am liking the game. So, the game kind of reminds you of Frostpunk in the sense that you have this fire you run at the middle. Instead of dealing with cold, you're dealing with like the darkness hurts you. So it's kind of like Don't Starve, where if you spend time in the darkness, bad things happen. Except this one, it's just if your tribesmen are caught out in the darkness for any real length of time, they get yoinked by shadow spirits or whatever. But it's been interesting so far. We're still learning the game. We're still progressing. We're still pretty early on. This is a very alpha version, very playtest. And that said, we haven't had any like game-breaking bugs or anything like that. So there's all that. Waiting for the alert. Is it not going to alert that? Alright, well I guess it's not going to play the alert, so sorry about that. But thank you, JPizzle, for the tier 1 sub. You've been subscribed to the channel for 2 months, and I really do appreciate that you continue to support the channel. It does mean a whole heck of a lot that you continue to support the channel. I really do appreciate that. I hope you enjoy your advertisement previewing as well as access to emotes. Don't know why the sub alert didn't play. I'm probably going to chalk that up to Twitch never seems to consistently have anything work right. Yeah, so I think we need to use our explorers to reveal the neighboring tile, because this does just scroll over, despite the fact that there's like these tiles. And I'm curious if these are all the tiles, or there will be another wave out farther. Like, we don't have a clue on that one. Oh, sweet. Yellow mushrooms. We can do buildings. I hate to let you down, but didn't sub. Today is the anniversary, Randall. No, I gotcha. Oh, it's the anniversary? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was saying that you converted the gifted sub into a T1 sub. Well, I mean, thank you so much, Randall Thor, for that support. Regardless, it helps. Yeah, you sub kept going. Save next to see him. Gotcha. Will do. It was a little unclear in the messaging that Twitch gave me around it. Alright, so we still have 4 people who don't have work to do. And I am suspecting what's going to ultimately happen is eventually with all this, it's no longer going to be viable for me to, like, eventually I will need to, set up the fires out here in the perimeter to keep that. Yeah, Darth Strider, when you get your wisdom teeth, especially lower jaw, the numbness is going to last for a while. For those who don't know, when you're dealing with your lower jaw when it comes to your nerve, the reason why it's very hard to tell where something hurts in your lower jaw is you have one nerve that goes into the whole jaw. So that's the reason why if you have like a toothache back here, like this whole half of your face will be bothered by it. It's because the nerves, there aren't fine-tuned enough to like give you a more precise stuff. But it is a thing when they numb you for it. They tend to prefer to go a little bit over the top on the numbing, as opposed to not enough with dental work. Which does mean you'll have hours and hours later, you'll still have like puffy lip and all that stuff from the numbing stuff. Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Like, when they're first like, this is an alpha playtest, I'm like, okay, so like, expect it to crash, expect saves to not go, like, you know, the usual. This honestly feels like it's in a pretty good state. You're probably gonna get yoinked. You shouldn't be out in the shadows. Okay, you made it back, alright. Do you build bigger, more fires? So, I can upgrade the radius of the fire. So if we actually look at what it's doing, here's the radius here that it handles. If I hit that, it makes it wider. So you can do that. And then there are outpost fires, so I can just plop a fire out here that's much smaller. I'm avoiding doing it because every one of those fires consumes wood over time. So I'm being careful about how much we're using. So I got a bunch of research. Let's see what we can do with that research now. So building upgrades. Let's see. We can have the hunters have better productivity. The stone pits have better productivity. The tinkers workers have better productivity. We have better productivity over medicines. Let's start with the sharpener axes, so that our wood productivity is up. Because the main resource in the game, beyond everything else, seems to be wood. Disappointed tinkers. 5 days have passed since they promised the green whatever. They eagerly await delivery, but we have not been able to collect enough in time. In their anger and disappointed, tinkers destroyed one of our tinkeries. We should not have broken our promises. Well, you're a bunch of jerks. It's fine. Do the trees start getting cleared out and forcing you to expand? That's what it's looking like. So my assumption is what'll end up happening is eventually it'll start to expand where I can't safely have them like walk back and forth. It'll take them too long to get home before the darkness sets in. Yeah. Okay. Trying to remember how I go to the automation thing about that. Oh, I think I click here. We're gonna start the fire. We're gonna tell people to go to the fire 1 hour earlier now. Is there a military aspect, or is it just shadows equal death? It's shadows equals death. If you think about Frostpunk, there isn't an enemy you fight. It's the environment. Hey, James Puzzles, thank you for the 100 biddies. I really do appreciate that. That is very kind of you to support in that way. We have one person in shock. They've just been out in the darkness long enough that they're upset, so we're going to keep the fire going to get that shock, you know, knocked down more. Yeah, so we're continuing to slowly expand. I'm feeling pretty good about the amount, so... Is there for answering any of those questions about everything? Hey, that's literally... That's a big reason why I do the variety stuff, is we can try a bunch of games, we get to see a bunch of stuff out there. People can check it out. If I know the answers, I will answer. There's a lot of times where people's like, what do you think about this? Like, I have no idea. I just started. Alright, so we still are getting a net gain in food. Used to believe we're net gain in food. Alright. Explorers are exploring. Yeah, we're hitting these pretty far. So I don't think the answer is going to be expanding this at all. I think the answer is going to be something more along the lines of putting you down there and putting you here. Okay, so I've got a button to just turn on and off all the fire. Yeah, it's going to increase our fire consumption by 3-fold. But with that, we can have our people stay out there. It'll be relatively safe for them. It also means they can collect medicine day and night. As it should be. The 32 down here is blue. So I don't know what that's about. But, you know, that's a thing. Alright, I think the next thing is to improve our medicine collection. Yeah, I know what the 32 is about. Maybe that's the end of the alpha? Flood. Hang on, wait a second. Wait a second. Are we gonna talk about this? Flood. Rain will drown our lands. Beware the waters. Do not let them swallow the tribe. Well, stops floodwater from spreading and acts as a walkway. Okay. Here, we'll actually get rid of that one. So we're burning lots of resources because apparently we've got a flood coming. My assumption of how these work is that they'll be sort of like levees. Just a precaution, let's go ahead and build 2 more of these since I got rid of 2 of them. Okay. Riot. There are riots in the game. Riot levels are reduced discontent. Hold up. How does one reduce discontent? Okay, so we've got the levy things built. You have like no fear. Where is discontent leveled? So you're in the red for discontent. You have a need for spiritual that is not being met. Why is it not being met? You have like all these things. I don't really understand. Oh. Oh, I have to turn it on. Okay. Any excuse for a good riot. That's a lot of eating without tables. You know, look, sometimes it happens. Why? Food need, but what? Like, there's plenty of food. Like, food is square. And sleep need should be fine. You have beds for everyone. Okay. Here comes the rain. Discontent has gotten out of hand. A riot is breaking out. Your tribe riot, 6 hours. Movement plus 50, explore radius minus 2. Retreat from the light, 200. Random buildings will be destroyed. Thanks, everyone. That's really helpful. That's definitely gonna help your cause. Oh, if you die because you destroyed this right leading into the flood, I'm gonna be real upset with you. Okay, do we see anything else that was destroyed that we care about? They did destroy one of these up here. Got the lights. I think everything else is okay. No, it's not. We're missing a tent. Okay, I think... Dark clouds gather above us, bring with them rain more intense than ever before. Our flames struggle to keep lit, and the ever-growing flood threatens our survival. We must not lay claim our homes. The tribe's member will get more discontent when they're in the water. The light buildings' range are reduced, and they'll become inactive in medium or high waters. Alright. The mechanic needs some polishing. Why would they riot over slightly unhappy and start wandering into the darkness? I mean, I'm okay with that part. It's just... It's a little unclear with some of the discontent what's happening with it. But that's the kind of thing you expect with early access, is they'll go through, people go, hey, this is confusing, could you explain? And then they'll add stuff to the game that helps, you know, better explain what's going on. Like, I kind of wish we had the discontent somewhere very visible around here somewhere. And they're complaining about spirituality, which is what I'm trying to deal with. Yeah, no, I don't necessarily agree. Like, when you have a riot, you have people who do stupid stuff that gets them hurt and killed and all that stuff. Like, that's an actual thing that happens. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Let's say our tents are starting to leak under the heavy rain, disturbing our rest. Water soaks everything. It's getting harder to fall asleep at night. Reinforce. Oh my goodness. 150. I can't. Sorry, I can't do 150. 150. The price is too dang high. Yeah, like the discontent, like all of them are showing like sleep need is increased. Like all that, like there's a lot of things stacking. From the depths they come. One of the tribe's member wants to let the waters engulf the camp. She believes the flood to be a gift beckoning the arrival of a new god. We mustn't resist. These lands will be a new kingdom for the god of the depths. He will keep us safe. This is betrayal. Exile her. Punish her. Silence that mad tongue. Leave her be. She is unwell. Yeah, so it seems like the stuff around discontent isn't really clear. Because like I keep doing rituals and I have them using the medicine heavily. Like literally just max out your use. But it doesn't seem to really be helping with the spiritual need. It's implying that the sleep need. The flood rises. The water keeps rising, making it harder and harder for us to contain it. It is if some dark force is trying to drown these lands. Perhaps we're just imagining things. Some tribesmen keep staring at the pools of water, claiming that they see something in them. We are not. These are not just puzzles. They're gateway. Pieces of great depth. Fernandez says, "Pieces of the great depths," and others repeating longingly. Chance of water death increases, but it reduces their fear and discontentment. Sure. I could afford some water depth deaths. How's her discontentment doing now? So her discontentment is improving greatly. Despite the fact that it says her spiritual need is in awful shape. You know, even though I'm telling them to basically just go full bore. I'm telling them to daily consume like literally everything. We'll knock it down to like 95, well, whatever. Just slightly less than 100%. So in theory, I should collect some. Meanwhile, let's not forget that I have upgrades I could be doing. Okay, and at 100, and then if we get whatever that is. Spawns of muck. One of our hunters has caught strange fish brought by the flood. The fish sprout from the bottoms of the muddy pools, dragging themselves onto the ground with hand-like fins. When caught, they scream almost like a person. Though the fish taste like dirt, they're edible enough. I don't really need more food. Disgusting, we're not that desperate yet. Alright, so we got a path for them to keep getting the wood without climbing through the water. The flood is getting worse. The rain shows no sign of ending. More and more land is being claimed by the flood. It brought something terrible with it. A deadly presence lurking below the surface. Stay on dry land. And then suddenly, oh my goodness, like everyone just died in the water. That was like 12 people gone all at once. Now we're out of stone. Well, that's fine. That's just less food we need. A bunch of people are in shock. Why are you in shock? You're in shock because plus 40 fear because of just how many people disappeared yesterday. I don't know what your problem with. Everything seems fine. In sickness and health, our tribe members argue about how to deal with the rain. Letting ourselves get wet could lead to sickness, but avoiding the rain the best you can would surely affect our work. Let's make this somewhat bearable. Sure. We'll take a hit to our productivity while it's raining. It's fine. I'm actually not expecting to get a whole lot of productivity done with half our tribe dead. There's kind of an interesting twist in the last one. It needs a shaman to start because the shaman died. Yeah, so discontentment is the one I'm struggling with. That it's not like we're battling with it. It's not entirely clear on some of the stuff. It's like you're super high discontentment because apparently you need to sleep, which I don't know why you're not. You need food, which I don't know why you're not. You need your spirits sorted out, which I don't know why you're not. And then, you know, stability, I don't know what that's about. The clouds are parting, the rain has finally ceased, and the waters are receding. But we cannot celebrate yet. Not before the flood is fully over. Just a little longer. Like that's the one thing is the discontent is the one I'm trying to figure out, because we have sleeping space for 24 people. So I don't know why anyone should be having that they haven't got enough sleep. We also have, you know, more than enough food for everyone, so I don't really know why they're having negative effects on the food. The flood barriers have been broken. We found 2 drowned bodies floating near the debris. One of the same one who had demanded we flood the camp and praise the god of the depths. There's no sign of injury or struggle. Did they drown themselves on purpose? This is utter madness. Okay. Luckily, they destroyed 2 of the barriers that were not critical, because I can't build more of them. The flood has ended. The last of the waters have disappeared and the land belongs to us once more. We have a new opportunity to build and grow and become stronger than before. Let's see what the future brings. Okay, so that is the end of the playtest alpha. It says, well done, you have survived the playtest alpha. However, this is just the beginning. These were the first 2 of 5 acts that the tribe must survive in the future. We also hope to keep expanding the game with many things like new disasters, upgrades, events, resources, achievements, more glimpses into this mysterious and unforgiving world. We have an exciting road ahead of us, and we can't wait to be able to share more with you. So, if you want to be in the loop, support us with your feedback and suggestions, and come join the Steam community and Discord. Thanks again for checking out the playtest alpha. We really hope you enjoyed it. The Walking Tree games and the run. So, we scored 10,155. We survived 39 days, 25 people died, 8 people survived. We built 3 upgrades, and we gained about 5,695 sources. We are going to go to the main menu, though. So that has been the Try Must Survive. Again, this is a very early access playtest build, and it felt really good considering it is like, it's not available right now. This is an alpha. It is a playtest. And, you know, certainly there's a couple places that were pain points that, like, it didn't quite describe stuff, so you're like, I don't really know what it means. The discontentment thing was a little unclear. I wasn't sure why my people were getting upset about eating and sleeping when I had more than enough places for them to sleep and more than enough food. The spirituality thing was very kind of confusing within its own. But outside of that, which is understandable communication problems that you run into in an alpha build, like, the game felt good. I liked the atmosphere. I liked that it did a good job of, if we compare it against, say, like Frostpunk, where the cycle of Frostpunk is it just keeps kind of getting colder, and then you have like this super cold thing that happens that you just have to ride out. They do similar stuff to that, but they have different variations of that, where like the whole flood thing where I had to like build walls to protect myself from the flood. I do wish it had communicated that all of my people were going to suddenly die all at once when the flood got to deep. Which I guess is fair that would be an kind of an expected outcome. I was expecting it to escalate. I just wish it was going to be a warning that's like, this is getting deep enough that if it gets any deeper, people are going to die. And you're like, oh, okay, the next time it gets deeper, I need to not be here. But that's fine. But yeah, no, it feels pretty good. So they imply that there's intended on being 5 acts. I do wonder if in the long run they'll have like a, you know, never-ending mode. Because that was one thing we ran into, is we never went on to another tile. Now, that could be what acts like 4 and 5 are, or whatever, is, you know, for whatever reason, the initial tile can no longer sustain itself, so you gotta grow and expand. But yeah, so I liked that. That's what I'm gonna keep on my radar to check out more in the future. With that said, I'm gonna end where I'm recording this for putting on YouTube later at some point. So for those of you in YouTube land, when you get to see this later,